What it do, 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 what it do. What's up, guys? Y'all ready? Y'all finished doing your holiday shopping? Y'all in the spirit? Who's in the spirit of shopping? Anybody? Nobody? I got this pineapple right here. You get close today. Right here. You see this pineapple? This big old sweet, juicy pineapple. Are you looking to make pineapple juice or any type of juice for the holiday? Just go on my playlist. Y'all know it's a food channel. Go on drink and you'll see it right there, right? All right. You guys in the holiday spirit? Anybody in the holiday spirit? Yes, no, maybe so. You guys fighting depression? Anybody depressed out there? Y'all making money, y'all working, y'all running a business, starting up a company. Got one job, two job, three job. Your Jamaican mom. I have three job, mom. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Shout out to TikTok. Shout out to Utah, YouTube. Hopefully, we are having no technical difficulties today. No technical difficulties. What's going on, guys? I have a theme today. I actually kind of think I have a show today. I think I have a theme. It's gonna be very It's going to be a very emotional one for me. Let me move this pineapple, guys. This is pineapple. Y'all know this is a cooking channel, but every now and then everybody podcasts. I'm like, oh, let me come on and start podcasting. I want to talk about, y'all know everybody's been talking about the diddler. Diddly diddly dee, the diddler, 50 Cent, who's right, who's wrong. Shitty had did the document. Shitty had not did the document. Should Dean Gene Dale should have been in the documentary. It's like 4 hours long. He said he got 170. My ADD is kicking in. Hang with me. He has 170 hours of footage of unraw cut, unforced scenes that he's going to drop on YouTube. Some people are like, you shouldn't cook a man when he's down. How you guys feeling? You got mixed emotions. Now Cassie's getting sued. You got all the guys from the alleged entertainers. They're coming after her money. I do believe you will lose money how you got it. Everyone that hits the lotto, what do they say happened? They have anxiety. They can't sleep. They have arguments with their family. They want them going broke. They don't have any money management skills. Yada yada. So a lot of people say it's like a curse. Let me know in the comments, guys, how you feeling. Hey, if you want to donate to the channel, I put the links below at the top of the channel. PayPal, Cash App. If you want to donate to the channel, thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who's liking, sharing, subscribing. Shout out to my California crew. I got a big crew from California. I got a crew from Texas, Florida. New York is always in the house. Shout out to New York, Brooklyn, Bronx, New York, Queens, Long Island, money earning Mount Vernon, and of course, South Florida is the sixth borough, as we all say and know. Shout out to people who have contributed to the channel. My girlfriend Sharon, Greg Jones TV, Mommy Money Gold. Shout out to her. So hopefully I'll throw their banner up on the next go around. But anyway, the documentary, I watched it once. I refused to watch it twice. It's long. I didn't feel like it was anything that I didn't already know, hadn't heard before. I did a review. I did part 1, 2, 3, 4 review. You could go back and look it up. And I don't think it was anything new. I was surprised about that email with Aubrey O'Day, the email that she came out, the salacious email. I don't know if she was flirting with the man, wanting to get with the man. If it was one-sided, why does someone think that they could just talk to you like that and then you didn't act on it then? Or maybe you did. I don't really know. And everyone's saying about Kurt Burrows. Was it real? Did he want it? Did he take it? Were they in a relationship? I don't know, but I think a lot more is going to come out. I think a lot more is going to come out. But the reason why I'm here, part of the documentary that had came out was the whole allegedly, this is only for news reporting and entertainment. Allegedly is just my opinion. I have to put that out there. I'm not trying to get sued. The way the documentary was written by Alexander Stapleton, or go executive producer 50 Cent. I'm getting confused. Some people saying 50 did it. Some people saying 50 didn't do it. They're saying 50 just licensed his name. Then I did hear next, guys. Did you hear that he's getting ready to put out a docu-series on the death of Kim Porter? Ooh. He's always working on it. That's going to be touchy. That's going to be a touchy-feely one. I might have even just left that one alone. Hold on one second. Let me check my resources. I checked my resources. Hold on. Did you hear 50 Cent is doing a documentary on Kim Porter's death? Okay, I got inside intel. Let's see what they say, what they respond back. So this documentary, the takeaway, I think the viewer, of course, if you're over 40, over 50, if you're from the Bronx, if you're from in hip hop, whatever, like I was, nothing's new. Nothing is like, okay, I didn't hear anything new. We heard this before. But if you're overseas in Europe or Africa or Asia, Netflix is on 200 countries. It's in X amount of different languages. If you're under the age of 30 or under the age of 40, yes, a lot of it could have been eye-opening. A lot of it could have been things that you heard for the first time. So one of the takeaways I felt like he was trying to let the viewer see is that he allegedly was involved with the unalive of late great Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. I got a lot of questions about that. If there was a hit on Suge Knight, allegedly, if there was $1 million hit, $500,000 for Tupac, $500,000 for Suge Knight, so that was $1 million hit. If Suge Knight was in the car, he got hit in the head with a Glock 40, no scar tissue, anything. How come he was still speaking and friends with Keefe D, with Zip, with a lot of the Crips that were around in the incident? That's the one thing that seemed a little. My enemy's enemy is my enemy, should be your enemy. You following me? Guys, are you following me? My enemy's enemy should be my enemy. My enemy put a hit to unalive me, miss, but then I'm still gonna kiki and haha and talk to you on the phone and be friends. You don't find that very strange? Listen, guys, I'm gonna put it there. A lot of people always tell me, "Oh, everybody's making podcasts. You should You should podcast. You're from hip hop. You've been on tour." Did I know Tupac Shakur? Yes, I did. Was I friends with Tupac Shakur? Yes, I was. It's very challenging when you have somebody that you love dear to your heart who's an enigma or a child prodigy or as his mother would describe him, very empathetic, a poet, passionate, and then for them to transition unexpectedly very young, it's shocking. It's hurtful. You don't know how to grieve. You're surprised. Why was I blessed with such a relationship and then have it to be taken away? But then to have it thrown in your face, for you to constantly see images of the person, you definitely suffer some real PTSD behind it. And then to come on here and go live and go, we'll talk about what you know. You think it's easy? It's not easy. We're talking about 30 years later, right? I took my daughter we went to Costa Rica. I'm just walking in the mall in Costa Rica, in another country. It speaks another language. This was recently, a couple summers ago. And I look up, and who do I see? Tupac. His likeness, his image, his music, it's everywhere. You can't escape it, which is a blessing. I'm not complaining, but then it's hard to, in a normal way, when you grieve someone, you kind of like close that chapter. They transition, you make peace with it, you hold on, and you kind of move on. But he's larger than life. He's immortal. He's really immortal. And somebody said this. I thought this was very interesting. I forgot. I want to give credit who I heard say it, but I can't remember. They said, it was a podcaster who just said it. I was listening to the other day. It'll come back to me. He said, Tupac is more alive than Diddy is dead. And I was like, wow, that's deep. Because this really is all stemming from Diddy's jealousy of Tupac. Tupac was very charming, charisma, talented. All the ladies just attracted to him like a magnet. Where Diddy was goofy and looked like a horse face and couldn't rap and wasn't talented. And the only way to get women he had to pay was very transactional with money. And it was very jealousy is one of the 7 deadly sins, right? So jealousy is a strong emotion that Diddy had for Tupac. Okay, Tupac might have been loud. Maybe he was disrespectful. Did anything he say on wax warn him to be unalive? Is that what the rap game and the rap battle is all about? Like competition on your lyrical skills? But you put some jealousy in there and you throw some what's the word I'm looking for? Gangsters, gangster life, gangster mentality, throw that in there too. It's a recipe for basically disaster. But the one thing, the one takeaway I think everyone should have got from the documentary, and I don't care if you go watch it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, is that the East Coast West Coast beef was made up by Vibe magazine. It didn't exist, and it trickled down to these artists, Biggie Smalls and Tupac, who both were going to leave the labels. Tupac wanted to leave Suge Knight. Biggie wanted to leave Bad Boy. Biggie Smalls was getting robbed like everybody else on the label, Mace and everybody else. Biggie Smalls was writing the production deals, trying to get paid. And rumor had it if Tupac and Biggie partnered up, because they really just started as friends and they were both just casualties of war. The real issue was over women. It was Suge Knight and Puff beefing over women because his baby mama Misa allegedly was out in LA hanging with Suge Knight. And you could look it up. You could look up photos, documentary. I'm not looking it up, right? So I'm here to say, I'm gonna share some photos with you. I'm gonna share some photos right here. I know you can't see it on TikTok. If you want to see it, you're gonna jump up on my YouTube. Here's some pictures. This is me and the members of Digital Underground that I went on tour with. That's DJ Fuse, Money B, Tupac Shakur. And that's me right here on tour with Digital Underground. I met Tupac over in Europe and Germany. This is Shock G right here. It's Moni Love. I believe it's her cousin. I forgot her name. I think her name was Danielle. I don't remember. It was me and that's Shock G, Humpty Hump. Greg, rest in peace. Again, this is Special Ed and Friends. Money B, Digital Underground, MC Tupac, myself, Special Ed, Kika, Queen Latifah's Dancers. Me and Kika, Latifah's Dancers. So that's me and Pac. Here's another picture of me and Pac right here. We went out to eat. I paid the bill. That's why you have this receipt right here in my hand. They were so happy. He picked me up and carried me. So cute. All right. So let me stop. So those are just some of my some really personal photos of mine that I have of me and Pac. And I do actually have some poetry here that he wrote me right here. See, signed by Tupac Shakur. I'm actually gonna read it. I'm sharing, guys. It took me a long time to go live and do this, and I'm going to do it. I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm going to try not to cry. I was playing his music for like all day, getting ready to do this, and my energy was like down, and my energy went up, and then my energy went down, and I had to take a nap, and then I woke back up, and I just, please put yourself in my shoes. You don't know how hard, I don't want to come off salacious. I'm not here to make rumors. I'm just here to state some facts and my opinions about my friend that's been gone too long. So he did write me. This was Friday, April 17th. So we toured. One thing I could say when I was on tour bus with Pac, this was him the whole tour. This is him the whole time. We on the bus, whatever. What about? Okay, yeah, all right. Where we at? All right, let's go. All right. he would just write and write and write. It's like he had all this poetry in his head and he had to get it out. And he would just write. And then one day he wrote something in his book and he just handed it to me. And I don't know if this poem is online. I'm gonna read it. And first thing he put my name, Allison. He spelled it with one L. So he wrote my L like the number two, and then he put a fire. Or my name is spelled with two L's. We spelled it well, but he spelled my name with the number two, and then he put a fire sign over the I. And then he drew a picture of an eye. It's all artwork. It's all artwork on here. Look at the artwork. See the artwork? All right. That's just him. That's how he wrote. See the artwork? Okay, so it says, I know I've seen your soul before. There are things we can't explain, so we usually tend to ignore the unpleasant side to the human race, like poverty and war. It's deja vu. When I see you, I realize it even more. I know your heart like I know mine because I've seen your soul before. I recognize your teardrops and the clouds inside your heart. I relate to your sorrow in every word you say. The Creator does so many things, but we never realize what for. Now I see why I met you, because I've seen your soul before. The space between your heart and your mind is sometimes called the soul, the personification of your morals and your emotional control. Stronger than the human spirit, the human soul, I can't ignore. Faster than your thoughts, because I've seen your soul before. As always, Tupac Amar Shakur. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. Was I and Tupac, were we soulmates? So he wrote me the poem that he saw my soul before. Maybe he was in depth, that he knew me in a past life. Okay, let me give you a little background about myself. I may look Hispanic. I'm not. I'm Egyptian. I'm actually Egyptian. Good. Tupac, like a lot of people, he had a big Nefertiti, tattooed on his chest. I mean, he was obsessed with Egyptians and cradle of civilization, the art, and mathematics, science, the intelligence. So he was always. You don't meet. My family's like one of the oldest Egyptian families in New York. You don't meet a lot of Egyptians. Like maybe they're more like Lebanese or Moroccans. There are people from other cultures probably here, but you don't really find many Egyptians. So I think he was very fascinating with me because of that. So I guess in some way he wanted to connect to my spirit and my soul, because he was very deep. His mother, Tupac's mother said he felt that her son passed away because he was too empathetic. He had too much empathy. Isn't that what we want in this world, though? Don't we want? We don't. We need more Tupacs. We need more love. We need more poetry. We need more art. Sometimes this place is just a ugly place, and you need people who can lift you up and be positive. Isn't that what music? Isn't that what music is supposed to inspire? It's supposed to inspire you. Guys, I didn't come on here to be a soapbox, okay? But the topic that I'm talking about, my friend Tupac Shakur, and what the documentary has done, and how it projected everything, and how his music has lived on, how he's become immortal, and why do we have to lose, two great talents at such a young age? Is like, what has hip hop learned behind it, and what could we do moving forward that this should never repeat itself again? You know, I take a moment and get emotional. Um, So I showed you some of my photos. I read you his poem. I actually found the FBI files, right? Let's take a look at that. These are where it was open for the public. This is the public vault. It's not my interpretation, it's not my opinion. I did not report on this. I wasn't even really getting caught up in that whole Cassie stuff. Like, let me tell you honestly. I was not on here podcasting. I was on here cooking. It's a cooking show, right? But I'm a people person. I'm a part of hip hop. Everyone's like, document, Al, you need to document hip hop. If you don't document hip hop, you'll be written out or they'll tell the story. If you let Caucasian people tell our history, rap and hip hop actually started with Eminem, right? Crazy, right? They're going to start it from, that means Run DMC never exists. That means Kumo D, the Treacherous Five, Cool Hurt, um, Angie Stone, rest in peace. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on. So a lot of people are like, we got to get on YouTube and we start documenting our story, or you're going to be written out. And like the whole thing about the Bronx, the hip hop started in the Bronx, and it started in Jamaica, and who put up the sound, and was it Sedgwick Avenue, and it had to be on Sedgwick Avenue, and what day, what year, what time, everything is document. And I'm honored to be part of the hip hop golden era, the golden era of hip hop. That's every genre of music: jazz, rap, rock and roll, R&B. Every genre of music has its golden era. I heard Beyonce is about to come out with a rock. I like what Beyonce's trying to do is dominate in every genre of music. So she did R&B, pop, soul, reggae, reggaeton. Now she did country. I heard rock is her next. She's trying to do a rock and roll album, and trying to dominate in that category. I mean, hey, more power to her. But I wanted to come on here and just talk about pop. And now this FBI files, the vault. Let's see. Freedom of Information Privacy Act. File number 2668 LA 201807. This report came out in 1997, which is, of course, a year Pac died in 1996. So this is posted online for public use, which is a year after Tupac's report. So this is about Tupac and Eazy-E. Eazy-E was a victim. Tupac was a victim. Just going to start talking about the music business. Follow me. I'm just going to read. I'm not going to interpret anything for fair house use. This is for entertainment purpose only. I'm just going to read what it is that I'm saying, and then we could discuss, or you can leave in the comments what your interpretation is, what you're taking away from it. So it's the FBI report, January 3rd, 1997. There were two victims, Tupac Shakur, who's already deceased, and Eric Wright, a.k.a. Eazy-E, was a victim. So they got death threats in Los Angeles. What year did Eazy-E die? Hold on. I don't remember all this off the top of my head. Y'all remember that? Oh, okay. So he died, Eazy-E died in 95. I don't know why I thought it was passed away before that. I don't know why. Armed and dangerous, status of investigation, request for extension. Tupac Shakur was the victim. Eazy-E was the victim. Death threats, preliminary inquiry. Set to expire. Original 5 copies on letterhead. Title exchange. This is 102 pages. I'm not reading all 102, but we're just going to skim through whatever it is. Enclosed is copy of letterhead 5 letterhead memoranda. Several leads remain outstanding at the Los Angeles regarding caption man in Los Angeles. Anticipates several interviews, witness, and the victim. Several LAFO files need to be reviewed. Background information. There's a lot of dirty cops in this rap game, man. I tell you, because now with LAPD, we're trying to solve the whole Biggie and Tupac. They're like, oh well, it's up to Vegas, but Vegas was like, we don't want no part of this whole. Vegas was like, this is just a family place to come and gamble. We don't want to get into gangsta and hip hop and who got shot on the Vegas Strip, and they don't want to deal with it. And the Keefe D, now that the documentary came out, it got pushed back. It was supposed to start in February. I think it got pushed back until August 2026. So February, March, April, May, June, July. 6 months. Why? Because the documentary came out. They're looking for new investigation. Tupac Shakur, victim deceased, Eric Wright, Eazy-E. A reference to Los Angeles, January 3rd, 1997. Expired. The PSXN 30-day period allowed additional time for the Los Angeles to determine whether subject and others engaged in criminal activity in further of their social and political goals during this investigation. So they want to know if these rappers were involved in any criminal activity and if they had social and or political goals. Agents should attempt to determine whether the extortion activity being conducted by blank and others is to provide financial backing for the organization is only for personal financial gain. If Los Angeles decides further extension of this private investigation, a request for such extension should be submitted to Domestic Terrorism Operation Unit prior to February 16, 1997. Tupac Shakur and Eazy-E. Hold on. Some of these pages are duplicates. I thought it was social political. Okay. It says of social and political goals of the Jewish Defense League. If Los Angeles desires a future extension of this PI, a request for such extension must reach the Domestic Terrorism Operations Unit. What is the Jewish Defense League? And why would the feds be investigating Tupac and Eazy-E? Okay, so I think they were hiring the Jewish Defense League as security. I think this is starting to come back to me now. The Jewish Defense League is a far right political organization in the United States, Canada, and France. It's to protect Jews from. Were they trying to hire? Was the record label trying to hire them for security because they were getting threats? This is the FBI files, guys. I'm reading from the FBI files. Dated March 17th, 1997. 1 year after Tupac Shakur was unalive. So they're both rappers were receiving threats to be unalive. Los Angeles requests an extension on the PI due to recent information concerning additional victim blank. Some of these are redacted. It's redacted. There was additional victim. There was a third victim that's redacted. The allegation implicates blank as operating on behalf of the Jewish Defense League, the JDL, while extorting blank. LAFO requests PI extensions to determine whether the extortion activities is subjects or further of the social political goals of the JDL. So the rappers were getting death threats and extortion for money. And the FBI was investigating whether they had social political goals of the Jewish Defense League. Interesting, right? This is a copy. This is a copy. Duplicate. It's a lot of duplicates. This is 107 pages, 102 pages, but I'm skipping around because some of it is duplicated. Was Easy E and Tupac Shakur ever label mates? I don't think so. I don't think so. Easy E was on Ruthless Records. And if Pac was on Death Row, one has nothing to do with the other, but the FBI was investigating both of them because both of them had the same complaint that they were receiving threats and extortion. Because a lot of this is redacted. A synopsis: request for subscribers checks. For information on receiving officers on October 17, 1996, a preliminary inquiry of the PI was initiated at Los Angeles field office to corporate source information that redacted an unknown organized crime figure, along with a group of unidentified individuals utilizing blank threats in the furtherance of extortion attempts towards two former prominent rap musicians from the LA area and other victims yet identified. So it's an organized crime figure. Organized crime figure. It was redacted. And this is 1997 in Los Angeles. Who you guys gonna say? Suge Knight? Who was the organized crime figure from Los Angeles that wanted to target two prominent rap musicians from the Los Angeles area, the other victims yet identified? So, all right, guys, let's put the pieces of the puzzle together. We're talking about 1997, and we're in LA, and this was redacted. Was a known organized crime figure. And then we have the JDL, Jewish Defense League. And we all know that the music business is ran by JDL, and others yet identified have been extorting money from various rap music stars via blank threats. The scheme involves redacted and other subjects making telephonic blank threats to the rap star. Subject then intercedes by contacting the victim and offering protection for a fee. Source reported that Eric Wright, also known as Eazy-E, who owned Ruthless Records, Woodland Hills, California, as a victim of this extortion scheme prior to dying from AIDS. He blank also reported targeted Tupac Shakur prior to his recent murder in Las Vegas, Nevada. They redacted the person's name here. On March 27th, so could it be an informant? Hold up. Is that an informant? Guys, I'm reading the Tupac Shakur FBI files from 1997. On March 27, 1995, filed in a civil lawsuit against Ronald Sweeney Entertainment Records for the Wright estate This lawsuit titled Compton Records Inc. at L means an entourage via law offices. Ronald Swiggy in the case BC 1244555 was filed in Los Angeles Supreme Court, LA, California, pertaining to property rights of Ruthless Records. During the lawsuit, Blank offered as evidence two letters reportedly signed by Eric Wright granting part ownership of Ruthless Records. The letters were deemed forged by expert witnesses, advised that the results of the lawsuit were classified confidential and required subpoena, which is pending, and it believed that Blank received approximately $1.5 million in a court settlement. I'm just writing down this case number. We can always look up the lawsuit if you want to. This is BC 1245555. Okay, let's keep going. I'm on page 21, 102. Let's keep going. A review of current local directories in Sacramento indites a negative for telephone blank. It is noted that some of this is redacted, guys. It's redacted. It's handled by a specific Bell telephone company, which now requires a subpoena by the court order of any published, non-published subscriber information directed custodian of records, specific Bell telephone company, 2150 Webster room 735A, Oakland, California, 94612. Okay, this is what I'm getting from this. So the FBI is saying that two rappers, Eazy-E and Tupac Shakur, were getting threats, and that the JDL, the Jewish Defense League, was saying, hey, we're going to offer you protection. Somewhere along the line, there was a lawsuit, and it was settled for $1.6 million because that person was subpoenaed. And now it looks like they're trying to pull up Pacific Bell Telephone Company because they were trying to trace whatever threats were coming on the phone, who was making the calls or whatever. So I don't know if this was an internal, was this like a scam? Were these threats legitimate? I'm going to say they were. Or was this a scam trying to say, oh, well, your life is on the line. Hire me. I'm going to get you protection so that I got to keep reading. I'm reading the Freedom of Information Privacy Act, the subject of Tupac Shakur, file number 266ALA-201807. This is for public use. Request to open. It was a request to open 266A matter regarding death threats and extortion involving rap music, Tupac Shakur and Eazy. Extortion, well, that's illegal, September 11, 1996, right, an interview blank. They redacted the name, was contacted. I was like, is this an informant? Who's the person telling, rappers, if they're getting threats, they're not going to go to the FBI. Like, hey, I'm getting these threats. I don't see that happening. So how's the FBI getting this information? Was it an informant? We know Diddy was an informant. We know, allegedly, 50 Cent is an informant, allegedly. They say Jay-Z is an informant, allegedly. So this is redacted. Can we get an it's not redacted? Request to open 266A matter regarding death threats and extortion involving rap music star Tupac Shakur deceased. Writer interview was contacted concerning a matter caption bombing of American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee, the ADC office at 1905 East 17th Street, Santa Ana, California, October 11, 1985. Alexandra Michael, oldie victim, deceased explosive and incendiary device. Okay. Now, we all know Tupac's family were Black Panthers, right? Go back in his history, his mother and his father. I think his parents met, like, there was a attack and they were like hiding out. They would hide out, part of Black Panther. And they actually he was conceived in the middle of all of that, tension. So are they trying to link a previous, it says here, bombing of an American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee at ADC. And but this is October 11, 1985. Tupac had to have been like 14? No. He's born what? What year was he born? 71? Man, these files go deep. I'm digging in a rabbit hole. Stay with me, guys. And he was born in 71. I knew because we're the same age. So he's 14 years old. Why are they bringing up a case, a bombing against some American Arab Anti-Discrimination Committee in California in the Tupac Shakur FBI files if he's only 14 years old, guys? See, that's why a lot of this stuff, you got to have critical thinking skills. You got to think out the box, because there's an interview here. Maybe I could pull it up, with his brother, Tupac Shakur's brother. And they're asking him, like, how do you feel since Keefe D was arrested? He was like, do you feel vindicated? Does it change anything? You don't hear his sister being too vocal, but his brother. And his brother's like, without really saying it, I mean, the brother was like, I want to play it. I need to play it. I don't know if I can find it, or if I have to come back on. Maybe I have to log back on later and play it. But he was feeling more like you need to get the FBI involved and see what the FBI was trying to do. Because I think he felt like his whole family was being watched by the feds. Afeni Shakur, when she ran off to Cuba, and then, his mother and potentially his father extorting money from various rap music stars via blank threats. The scheme involves redacted and other subjects making telephonic blank threats to rap stars subject of intimacy by contacting the victim and offering protection for a fee. There we go. So that's the scam. The victim and their family are taken to a safe haven, usually a private estate, and they're protected by blank totem bodyguards. It's saying armed bodyguards associated with the Jewish Defense League, the JDL. The subjects convincing the victim they have to work a deal out with the persons making the blank threats, and that the threats will cease. The victims then pay the subjects for protection services, rendering and resume their normal lifestyle with no fear of further threats. Blank identified Eazy-E, Dizesse, who reportedly was targeted by subjects of extortion prior to dying from complications associated with AIDS. Eazy-E resides in Van Nuys, California, redacted. In addition to the aforementioned, on October 8, 96, Detective Blank, LAPD, a writer, interviewed a Los Angeles source of proven reliability concerning the ODEH bombing matter. During that interview, sources corroborated the above information. According to the source, redacted reportedly enlists the services of redacted, not further identified at this time, who source described as a capper or ambulance chaser, to assist with. What did we hear about Tony Bubsy? Didn't Jay-Z call Tony Bubsy an ambulance chaser? They're saying here again, this is an ambulance chaser to assist with the extortion scheme. Sources stated that Blank used the same scheme when would rip off blank dealers. Sources stated the monetary amount being extorted is $50,000. $50K. Writer is familiar with captured subject as their names are surfaced on the ODEH investigation, also cause of the Jewish Defense League, Los Angeles. Since 2 independent sources have reported capture matter, it is recommended that 266A matter be opened and assigned to a detective in the department and co-agents. What is a 2668? What is a 2668? Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. What is a 2668? It is takes a person against his or her will. It's a penal code without his or her consent. Okay. It's a felony in California. Procuring something for a person of persuading or encourage someone to. Okay, I can't say it on here. Look it up. You guys can Google 2668 penal code, California. I'm not gonna say it on here. Okay, hold on. Let me go back to sharing my screen. I'm on YouTube Live, guys. If you guys want to see these documents, you could hop over on YouTube, Safari Spice. So the extortion for Eazy-E and Tupac was $50,000 for protection. They would get put in a safe haven. It was going to be provided by the Jewish Defense League, and it was basically a scheme. They were getting threats on the phone. And it says, writer familiar with the caption subjects as their names have surfaced. Investigation caused the Jewish Defense League. So the case number 100ALA169742 was closed. What, did they close the case because both of the rappers were no longer living? Closed. A lot of this is redacted. It says 2 independent sources have reported the caption of the matter. Okay, I read that. Hold on, let me go back. Shakur, a victim of his message. Rapper cannot escape world he idolized. This is College Press Network, one of the leading figures of gangster rap. Okay, this is just a news report. This is in the FBI files about his shooting in. Give me a second, I'm reading something. Last Friday, dozens of Tupac Shakur fans gathered in Las Vegas. It was in a drive-by shooting. In a society where racial inequality is to be reached, we shall polarize up on sides of the message of it. Instead of using talents that bring races together, he did everything imaginable. Living in country, homicide rate. It says here, we talked about when he got shot 5 times during 1994 robbery attempt. All right, this is just an article about him. Inside the mind of Tupac Shakur. This is from Vibe magazine. It's in the FBI files. It says there was never beef, only the difference in my opinion. My homeboy Shug gave me the best advice I could ever get from anybody. When people asked him if he was beefing with Bad Boy and with Puffy, he said, it's like me going to the playground to pick on little kids. That's like me being mad at my little brother because he's getting cash now. I'm not mad at that. I'm just mad at my little brother when he don't respect me. And when you don't respect me, I'm going to spank that ass. I don't give a blank how rich you got on the block. I'm your big brother. I'm going to break your blank down. That's my only point. I feel as though he wrong. He got out of hand. He got seduced by the power. Not because he's an evil person, but because money is evil. If it's not handled right, if you lose your composure, you can do anything. Fear got stronger than love. He did things that he weren't really supposed to do. They know their hearts and they know why they're in hell now. They can't sleep. That's why they're telling all the reporters and all the people why they do this. They're messing up hip hop, blah, 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 because they are in hell and they can't make money and they can't go anywhere and they can't look at themselves because they know the prodigal son has returned. I'm alive. The ghost is walking around, and I'm around talking in jail. I didn't talk now. Everybody who thinks I disrespected, I love East Coast fans. I'm here. I'm eating New York pizza. Driving. Okay, was this an interview for when he was in prison? He said he didn't hate Puffy. He just felt disrespected. And he talks about how somebody was there when I got shot and nobody couldn't give me no information. Okay, this is I think when he was in prison in upstate Danica. There's a lot of news articles here in this FBI file. I'm not going to go through all of them. Tupac, the fall and recovery to Calvary. Okay. Let's see what else is in these Shalada news articles. Everyone's opinion on the East Coast, West Coast beef. I will admit Tupac 124 a bit too early talking about Biggie's wife, but as a straight up diss record, which I've always seen in hip hop, I found the song funny. I think at this point in time, the wars will cease. We'll soon have records will retire, be viewed as look same like MC Shan and KRS-One, old battle records. You just have a lot of articles, news clips about him in prison when he got out of prison, about the shootings, gangster rap. Let me keep looking. Freedom of Information and Privacy Acts. It's a repeat. Let me keep going. That's pretty much it, guys. I don't know. I'm on page 70 of 102. That was it in this. I mean, I'm sure there's more files. They have all his court cases in here. The takedown of Tupac. This a lot of his articles are very well documented in here. And I mean, I think the biggest takeaway is that Biggie and Tupac were friends, right? They were friends. And they both were getting robbed by their labels, like a lot of artists was, and they wanted to leave. Okay, so I read that. I read the FBI files, guys. The Jewish Defense League had a scam. There were calls that Eazy and Tupac were being extorted for $50,000 each for protection. They were going to put them in a safe home. Case closed a year after Tupac was unalived. And that was that. But a lot of this stuff was redacted. Who was reporting everything and talking to the FBI? Was it an informant? Someone had a settlement, $1.5 million. They were getting extorted for $50,000 each. And there's also a case here that was closed. 100A.LA 169742. There was a couple of interviews here by Shock G, who was very close, who introduced Shock G from Humpty Hump, from Digital Underground, was actually the one who introduced Tupac to the world. So I did find some good interviews from him that I just wanted to play a little bit. Let me play this one.
Called me and said, "Can you do something with Pac? Can you take him on tour? You know, Pac's an MC. I don't know. I don't want to insult him, but ask him to Humpty dance and then ask him to, carry turntables." The feeling was Pac might go, "I'm not no fucking dancer. I don't carry equipment." We didn't know. And 5 minutes later, my phone rang and it was Tupac. Yeah, I'll do that shit. Cool. I didn't want to. Nah, I might be dead time y'all get back. That's the exact words. His role was to just do. Oh man.
Wow, I thought that was deep. So that's shock. Listen what he said. Look what he said. He was going on tour. I guess he was with Tommy Boy, and someone asked him, "Hey, take Tupac with you." He was like, "He's a rapper. I'm not gonna make him be a roadie or anything." And Tupac says, "I might be dead by the time you get back. Come and get me." Look at that. Let's play it again.
I said, "Can you do something with Pac? Can you take him on tour? You know, Pac's an MC. I don't know. I don't want to insult him, but ask him to Humpty dance and ask him to, carry turntables." The feeling was Pac might go, "I'm not no fucking dancer. I don't carry equipment." We didn't know. And 5 minutes later, my phone rang and it was Tupac. Yeah, I'll do that shit. Cool. I didn't want to. Nah, I might be dead time y'all get back. That's the exact words. His role was to just do. Called me and said, "Can you do?"
Wow. Wow. He said, "Come get me now." So that means he was in a I think there was a point, I don't know exactly when, Pac was he was homeless. Um his mom was struggling with drugs. I didn't realize at the time when I met him, like 89, 90, that was around the same time where his mother was trying to get clean. I didn't pin those pieces together until a lot later, until like his movie had came out. But when I met him over in Europe, we were on tour in Germany with label mates, Digital Underground. I just remember, you got this New York sound. It's like boom, boom, bap, boom, boom, bap, bap. But it's like very hardcore New Yorkers. And then you go to Europe, and you see Digital Underground. You got this George Funk, Funkadelic, and then you're right around all these white people, and they're loving these rappers. And like, it's the Sex Packet store, and they're doing it, baby, do the Humpty Hump, watch me do the hump. And they would like, the crowd was just going crazy, like, and who was on stage? And it was Pac doing the Humpty dance. And I mean, they just loved it. And I think he just got such a rush from being on stage, and the energy it was great, So let me see something. There was another interview here that he started talking about.
I might go tomorrow. Pac wasn't worried about death. He was not scared of death. Neither am I. I might go tonight. I might go tomorrow. I might live another 20 years. God don't bless me. But who knows?
This just in tonight, the hip-hop star Shakur G has reportedly died.
Let's get straight to it. Shock G didn't lose his life just because of fame, drugs, or bad luck. He died from something way heavier and way quiet. Guilt. A guilt that...
There's a part here when he's talking about Pop. Let me forward it up. Hold on.
I don't give a... and walked away. And before he got out of sight, he looked back one last time. He said he wanted to throw up afterward, that he couldn't believe he did that to someone, that he couldn't believe those words came out of his mouth to a man he loved like a brother. That wasn't some dramatic line. That was a man replaying a conversation that never stopped echoing in his head. And for the first time, you start to see what really happened to the man who gave us the Humpty Dance, mentored Tupac, and helped bend hip-hop into a new shape, because Pac wasn't afraid of death. Everybody around him knew that. He'd talk about it like it was already written in the script. He'd say things like, I might go tonight, I might go tomorrow, I might live another 20 years. God done bless me. But who knows? To Pac, the clock was always ticking, and he'd already made peace with that idea. Shock G, though, he was terrified for him. He was the one trying to slow him down in a world that only knew one speed. That's why that party moment hit so hard. Shock pulled Pac aside again and laid it out straight. They already had 2 tries in Oakland. Now there were 2 more in LA. 4 people paid to take him out. Yeah, once again, it's the Underground Mix coming at you. My name is Shock G.
And I'm Tupac.
Yeah, okay. Now see, D-Flow continues. D-Flow ain't stopped with no more sons. He offered him his key, his condo, his safe space, and Pac just stared back and said, "You finished? You don't get it, do you? I don't give a fin."
Pac was thinking like that. He was always plotting. If I died this way, put this out. If I died this way, I want you to put this out.
Why would someone go into the studio? Like, when they do, I think he knew he was gonna die. I think he knew it was ordained. I think he was ready. I think that's why he went in the studio and he put out so much music. I mean, I think when he got out of prison, what he put out, like 200 songs. I think he wrote 200 songs or recorded 200 songs. I mean, I think we still have, I think Death Row or I guess Suge Knight's wife or somewhere, I think there's a vault somewhere still with unheard Tupac's music. I don't know if it'll ever be released because I think he knew that, I think he knew his time here on earth was short. I think he was okay about going young. I think when you grow up, when you're young, Black in the urban city and you see a lot of your friends, getting shot, getting killed, going to jail, you kind of know that your future is not that. His mom was fighting drugs. He didn't have his father in his life. Like, you kind of already know that your time is, he was jaded in his thinking. And I think had Tupac still been alive now, I think he would have did great things in the world. I think he probably would have went into politics. I think he would have probably had his own party, an independent party. I definitely think he would have worked with the youth. I think he would have been heavily involved with inner city kids. And I think we just lost someone great too young. I just came on here to read the FBI files. If it was anything you never knew about or you did hear about that you cared about, I'm sure there's more files on him. I'm sure there's files on his mother, files on his father, files on his brother. Tupac was one of the greats, just gone too soon. His music will live on. And, if you're a Tupac fan, go ahead, give me a like and let me know what you think. I'll be back with another one. All right, guys, I'm out of here. You guys be safe and enjoy your holidays. Enjoy your holidays, guys. Don't forget to hit that like button.